we had a creaky operating system that left much to be desired, but it worked off a fashion and was improving slowly. Certainly has been improving for quite some time, since perhaps the emergency in 1975 to 77. What we find again is the creaky operating system is ineffective in checking the downsides of a determined leadership. And there are three concerning aspects of the government program which a functioning operating system would rule out of order, would rule as illegal commands, but we are seeing emerging. And Arvind touched upon some of this. I would emphasize them as authoritarianism, cronyism, and majoritarianism, and they feed on each other. Now, authoritarianism is not just the centralization of power, and we have extreme centralization, not just the central government having a lot of power, but within the central government, power in the Prime Minister's office and the Home Ministry. But it's also about the centralization of funds. More and more is going to the center as cess, which is unavailable to the states. And these funds are used as a lever over states. The wanted fiscal federalism is not operating as one might desire. But we also have the use of central agencies like the tax authorities, the Enforcement Directorate, the CBI to keep people, including critics and political opponents, in line. And most recently, we had, the Pegasus incident, where software was allegedly, and I want to emphasize allegedly, used to keep tabs on prominent members of the opposition, including Rahul Gandhi, the leader of Congress. The problem with the Pegasus is that the organization which actually sells it claims it sells only to government. So if in fact these people have been kept tabs on, it has to be potentially some arm of the government which has undertaken this kind of spying. But if in fact that has happened, again, I want to say these haven't been established, this has compromised national security, because in fact you've worked with a foreign company to keep tabs on loyal Indian citizens. And that, to my mind, is a source of leverage for foreign entities, because they can hold it over you as a threat point to try and get you to do their bidding. So broadly speaking, it seems to me this kind of authoritarianism is problematic for the economy. It's problematic not just because it suppresses criticism, but also information that could lead to a change in the path. This is something that Arvind pointed to. It is also problematic because sound, fearless advice or criticism and receptivity to both are critical to developing the right policies. If on the other hand, you have a leader surrounded by an echo chamber of sycophants, he has no ability to correct course or avoid mistaken policies, because nobody is saying this is wrong, think your policy again. More generally, and this is beyond governance, free speech is critical to producing ideas. And the world of the future is the world of ideas. If in fact we limit the production of ideas by tampering with them and damping down on critical ideas, we in fact are damaging our future. So that's one on authoritarianism. The second aspect of the operating of the program is cronyism. Arvind and Josh talk a lot about this. I think they left out an important new development. They talk about the two A's. We know they're talking about Ambani and Adani, but they left out an important source of cronyism which spreads beyond the two, which is the new form of electoral funding. There is no greater encouragement to corruption and cronyism than a non-transparent means of funding which has official legitimacy. And I would argue the electoral bond scheme that we now have is particularly dangerous in this regard. For those who don't know, anyone who wants to give to a political party can do so by purchasing electoral bonds, but only the State Bank of India, a government-owned bank, knows who the donors are now. And hopefully they keep that secure, but who will be brave enough, given the information that is collected by a state-owned bank, to give any funds to the opposition? What we saw was 76% of the bonds purchased in 2019-20 went to the BJP and only 9% to the main opposition party, the Congress. Now, what is unclear is that there may be quid pro quos taking place between the unknown business donor and the receiving party. We don't know. The public has no ability to know. And when the proposal was first mooted, both the Election Commission and the Reserve Bank of India expressed their concerns to no avail. Fortunately, the issue is again likely to come up before the Supreme Court. But the warning we want to emphasize here is that if we have a cronyist economy, the kind of tariffs and subsidies that we are seeing emerge flourish. This was true of the license permit Raj that India has. It is potentially true of what we're seeing emerging. It is hard to dismiss the possibility that cronyism is once again officially sanctioned in India. It was something we got away from with mixed results, but we are going potentially back to it in a much bigger way. And that leads to the last problem and the final problem. I'll stop here: majoritarianism. So, why is the government so popular despite all the anxiety? And it is popular. The India Today Mood of the Nation poll again reemphasizes that the leadership is seen in high. Prime Minister Modi is seen very well by the broader public. But interestingly, what the government gets credit for are two achievements which would not play that well outside. One is the building of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, and the second is the suspension of Article 370 in Kashmir. These, I think, tell a story that so long as the government believes its majoritarianism has popular support, it trumps its economic underperformance, and it has no reason to refocus on the economic underperformance. Indeed, there is a danger, which has been there right through, that economic difficulty may spur more crowd-pleasing majoritarianism. I personally believe it hard to imagine that India will become more nationally secure, given the threats on its borders, or economically successful as a nation by trampling on the rights of 15 to 20% of its people. Not only that, the slogan Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan not just excludes Christians, Muslims, and Parsis, but it also risks exacerbating long dormant divisions between North India and South India. As Arvind said, we are seeing increasingly reservations for sons of the soil in different states. It is hard to dissociate this from the broader divisive agenda, which labels Indians as Indian this and Indian that, not all of us as Indian citizens. So let me end by saying the reality is that so long as the public believes the right software, the right operating system is only the concern of a small liberal elite in Loiton's Delhi, in Indians' elite universities and universities abroad, India is unlikely to rectify that operating system and to find robust, sustained growth. So I would add to Arvind's pessimism by saying I don't see a change in approach which would work unless we fix that operating system. Yes, India will rebound from the disastrous economic performance last year. It's hard not to, because the performance was truly terrible given where we were. But India's true salvation lies in a total reboot of its current path. And that requires a total change in national mood. Call it software, call it hardware, but that, to my mind, is what we need. Let me stop there. We had a creaky operating